Hello class, I am Professor Raymond Wafula-Ongus, and today I'm taking you for a unit called Agricultural Sources of Information and Services, and the unit code is BIT3210. Welcome. Now, we are familiar with agriculture because most of Kenya and the East African countries are agricultural based, they are agro-based, and most of the population are engaged in agricultural activities. Now, when they are doing that, those types of activities are best done with proper information. So we want to see the sources. That means the origin of information pertaining to agriculture, and the services that, the information services that are given in the course of agriculture. As an overview of the lesson, we'll begin with the introduction, define what agriculture is, examine agriculture in the Kenyan context, what it is, look at the functions of Kenya's Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries. Then, once we have acquainted ourselves with that, we look at the most common categories of agricultural practices globally. Then, we examine the cycle of information generation, communication, and use of scientific information and knowledge. Then the role of information scientists in agriculture, and then summarize and conclude. The objectives of this first lesson is to define the concept of agriculture within the global context. We want to know what agriculture is globally. Then we look at the definition of agriculture as a concept with respect to Kenya. What do we understand agriculture to be in the Kenyan context? Then thirdly, we will identify various categories of agricultural activities. Then the fourth objective is to conceptualize the information transfer cycle in agriculture. That means we want to see how the agricultural information from generation to consumption is, and we'll try to draw a concept diagram of the same. Then to define agricultural research, and 6, to distinguish between international and local agricultural research. Then 7, to analyze the cycle of information generation, communication, and use in scientific research. Let's set the mood by looking at a few optics, a few images of agriculture activities. We begin, you can see this is a commercial farming, whereby there's a tractor there, mechanization, tilling the land, or weeding, you can see. Then this is a lady here who is in a tea farm, you can see. These are smallholder farmers, which form the majority of our farmers in East and Central Africa. They are using traditional hoes. Then there's an example of a farmer who is reaping her maize. Then we have a farmer who is keeping dairy cattle, and she's getting information from the mobile phone. And this one is very, very critical towards the end when we'll look at the SMS system for getting agricultural information. So once she gets information, she can apply to her farm. Now, we are ready to define agriculture. Now, according to SON's 2001, page 18, the word or the term agriculture is derived from two Latin words. The first one is ager. Ager means a field or a land, a piece of land. And cultura, which means cultivation, growing, or tillage. So if you mix the two or combine the two terms, ager and cultura, it comes with you end up with the anglicized term agriculture, which means cultivating, growing, or tilling products, farm products in a field. In its most generalized form, agriculture is taken to mean the science or practice of making a living by growing crops or rearing livestock. Kumar, in the year 2000, understood agriculture to be the art, science, and industry of managing the growth of plants and animals for human use. Now, in Kenya, when we to talk about agriculture, we talk about, especially in Kiswahili, we say kilimo. And when we say just the word kilimo without qualifying it, then the meaning is lost. It means only tilling the land, not looking after animals. So in order for the meaning to be fully understood, after you say kilimo, you have to add of what. Now, that has been properly captured in the Agriculture Act, Cap 318, which is revised in 2012 of the laws of Kenya. In there, the term agriculture is defined comprehensively as the cultivation of land and the use of land, whether or not covered by water, for any purpose of husbandry, and includes any combination of the following. The word husbandry here is taking care of. It means taking care of either crops or animals. Now, what do you take care of? A, horticulture, that is fruit growing and seed growing. And it includes fruits and flowers, for example. Then B, dairy farming, beekeeping, breeding and keeping of livestock. Then C, conservation and keeping of game animals, game birds and protected animals. Then D, breeding, game ranching, game cropping and other wildlife utilization and otherwise, including rearing all aquatic animals. That means fish and so on, whether inland waters or in the waters of maritime zones. Then E, the use of land as grazing, meadowland, market, gardens, or nursery grounds for the purpose of planting trees and so on. Note, in the Republic of Kenya, all agricultural activities mainly fall within the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries. Now, the Ministry of Agriculture's core functions include formulation, implementation, and monitoring of agricultural legislations, regulations, and policies. Everything must be done within this framework. Then it also supports agricultural research and promoting technology delivery. This is very, very key for this unit. Then the third factor of the ministry is to facilitate and represent agricultural state corporations in the government. That goes without saying. Then, fourthly, it deals with development, implementation, and coordination of programs in the agricultural sector. Then it regulates and does the quality control of inputs, produce, and products from the agricultural sector. Then it manages and controls pests and diseases. Then it collects, maintains, and manages information on agricultural sector, which is very, very key for this unit 2. Now let's look at a brief historical background on agriculture. Agriculture involves plants and animals breeding and land cultivation to offer fiber, food, and medicine. Without agriculture, the human being would not have developed to the extent that they have developed. And with advanced agriculture over the ages, it even led to the sophistication of the human brain and led to the Industrial Revolution. After that, we are now in the knowledge-based revolution. So agriculture is key. The development of agriculture is key to the development of a human being, of the human species. Agriculture was brought about because basically humans who were foraging were experiencing a high risk. To forage was dangerous to humans in that climbing the trees for food, for bees, for honey and all these other things was dangerous to the humans. They could fall. There were many accidents and so on. And the food that had to be hunted was fierce, and it normally fought back. So to make things easy, they domesticated animals so that they could have access to the plants and animals within the vicinity for their nutrition. So domesticated plant and animal species were farmed for food surpluses to sustain people living in the cities. Agriculture started over 105,000 years ago when wild grains were gathered. Then people thought of having the grains nearer to their places of residence. So about 11,500 years ago, people began to plant grains, and farming of animals or keeping animals for agricultural use started around 10,000 years ago with dogs, sheep, pigs, and cattle, which were the first animals to be domesticated. Now, billions of people worldwide currently rely on subsistence agriculture for sustenance. all humans do, apart from breathing, from the time of birth to the time they die, is to eat food. So, billions of people worldwide rely on subsistence agriculture to sustain them and to give them nourishment. So, technological developments through plant breeding, modern agronomy, and agrochemicals such as fertilizer and pesticides have spurred the agricultural output. However, as those developments have come, they have also led to the environmental and ecological damage. Let's look at a few of the most common categories of agricultural practices. Although agriculture is not uniform across the world, it is the most widespread activities, and it is classified according to the type of crop being grown, the scale of cultivation, intensity, and so on, mechanization level, and so on. Then we can talk about about 13 of them. There's shifting cultivation, which means the person slashes the people who are conducting the agricultural activity of that sort. They slash forest and burn and cultivate the piece of land until it has lost the fertility, then clear another area for the same. And the cycle goes on. Then there is nomadic herding, the practice of keeping and grazing animals on natural pastures and moving from place to place. Then the rudimentary sedentary cultivation, which is a type of subsistence farming, which is practiced at the same piece of land year in, year out. Then we have livestock farming, which is rearing of animals, but now the animals don't move very far. They are kept almost stationary, and the pasture and water is brought to them. Then there's commercial plantations, which are known as industrialized agriculture or plantation farming, which cover large tracts of land, and it involves the cultivation of tropical crops such as tea, rubber, coffee, coconut, cocoa, grapes, apples, spice, oranges, avocado, mangoes, and palm oil. We also have mixed farming, which is known as grain and livestock farming, where you combine the two crops and animals on the same piece of land. Then there is specialized horticulture, which is the growing of particular types of flowers or fruits and vegetables. Then subsistence farming, which involves growing crops and keeping animals for the sole purpose of feeding the farmers and his family or her family. It involves the use of simple farm tools on small pieces of land. Then you have intensive subsistence farming with the dominant crops, which is known as monoculture. Then Mediterranean agriculture, which is normally around the Mediterranean Sea, from Portugal all the way around to Morocco. Portugal, Israel, Syria, Lebanon, all the way up to Morocco and the Maghreb countries of Africa. Then we have dairy farming, which involves the rearing of cattle for milk. And commercial grain farming, which has resulted, which came from mechanization of farms. It is practiced in areas with less dense population and low rainfall, such as growing of wheat and other drought and weather hardy crops. Then we have arable farming. Unlike pastoral or mixed farming, it involves the growing of crops without keeping animals. It can be practiced on a large commercial or small scale. Now, we have talked about different activities pertaining to agriculture. Now, to bring us to the information part, we have to discuss agricultural research. agtrade.org defines the term agricultural research as the application of scientific theories and techniques to agriculture in order to develop new technologies that can increase production, protect natural resources and the environment, or achieve some other related purpose. Now, agricultural research can be divided into two main categories: international agricultural research and local agricultural research. Now, we'll discuss the first one. By international level of agricultural research, we look at the research activities undertaken under the aegis of one or more of the renowned international research organizations. For example, the Consultative Group on International Agricultural Research, or the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, or the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research, or the International Livestock Center for Africa, or International Livestock Research Institute, and so on. These ones, they are engaged in research which has a major aim of resolving agricultural problems of either a region or the entire globe. Such specialized international research organizations are there for that purpose. Then we have local level agricultural research. These are national level agricultural research which involves the agricultural research activities carried out to address local agricultural problems within a particular country. In Kenya, such type of research is overseen by the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization, KALRO, and local-based private sector agencies or even institutions, such as state agricultural universities and agricultural research institutes within a particular country. Now, agricultural research can be done either in a lab, like we have seen, we were able to see that, or in the field, like this one, where data can be collected in the field. The product of such research is the researchers record their findings in journals, like this one, the African Journal of Agricultural Research. Their procedures, the research procedures and the findings are recorded in the journals. Then those several journals worldwide are compiled in a database like this. This is agricultural biodata, which is it comprises several agricultural databases, as you can see. Now, some portals that, or some aggregates of agricultural information are like this CAB Abstractor, which is CAB stands for Center for Agriculture and Biosciences International. and it has a database, online databases which can be accessed in a portal such as this one, and you enter the search term, and then you can be able to obtain the data that you want, which has been compiled there. We also have the Agora portal, which contains agricultural information which has been indexed in the background by reputable agricultural scientists and information scientists and computer experts, including publishers. And it also is a special kind of interface whereby you can be able to access and download agricultural information. Agora stands for Access to Global Online Research in Agriculture. Now, farmers have come, due to technology advancements, farmers have come to the stage whereby they need information instantaneously. If there's something wrong with their products or their farm products or whatever, their crops, they need to get information instantaneously. Now we have many cases of information which can be formed, which the farmers can look for and obtain even through their mobile phones. And behind that, we have the agricultural scientists with access to computerized information, and those computerized information is found in databases which are fed by information scientists. Now here you have a farmer who is sending SMS message using a mobile phone. And that mobile phone it comes from the request comes from collected data, and behind that there are other data sources which are managed by data analysts and agronomists. And you can see there's that network which is there that is interactive. The farmer registers to the system by supplying the soil and related information. Then the coordinators send the crop through images and test data. Then the agricultural expert prepares the advice based on the crop states, the crop states supplied by the coordinator. Then the coordinator downloads the advice and explains the advice to the farmer, and the farmer follows the advice and takes appropriate steps and provides the feedback to the coordinator. This is the cycle that is going on. And you can see the farmer here does not know that this person is there, but they get the information instantaneously. The same can be depicted, the same situation can be depicted in that this flow diagram, and that the philosophy behind it is identification. The farmer identifies the knowledge needs or information needs. Then there has to be a way of getting the information needs of the farmer from a database, and that is called discovery of existing knowledge. And second to that, there is the acquisition of the knowledge, which is done by the information scientists, and the creation of the new knowledge, which is done by the agricultural scientists. Then we have the storage and organization of the knowledge, which is done by the information scientists, and sharing of the knowledge, which is done by the publishers. And then the farmer uses and applies knowledge and realizes tangible results. That is basically the information transfer cycle of agriculture. And the cycle of information generation, communication, and use of scientific information and knowledge begins actually with the information generation, whereby we have research institutes, universities, agricultural societies, and so on involved in information generation. Then there is publication of research findings in books, journals, conference proceedings, and so on. Then the third step is published knowledge resources are acquired by knowledge repositories such as libraries, data banks for dissemination. Fourthly, knowledge resources are indexed and abstracted using indexing and abstracting systems, after which they are made searchable both in print as well as electronic format. Then fifthly, knowledge resources are used by other scientists for their own literature review. You can see now it's a cycle. We began with scientists in number 1, and then we also end up with scientists, agricultural scientists in number 5. So as knowledge is discovered and sent out there, it ends up being used by scientists again. And that knowledge has to be controlled and managed using information scientists. Now, what is the role of information scientists in agriculture? Information scientists in agriculture play basically a supportive role. They are a support battalion, which are not seen by the end users, that is the farmers, but they are there. So information scientists, by virtue of their training and expertise, they act as catalysts, that is information gatekeepers and information gateways. Gatekeepers allow information, useful information to pass through and prevent harmful information from passing through. Now, these gatekeepers smoothen the information transfer cycle from the agricultural scientists to the agricultural extension workers and ultimately to the farmers. The information that comes from agricultural research is very complex. The farmer cannot understand it, and if they cannot understand it, they cannot apply it. So it has to be softened or digested by the agricultural extension workers in the language that a farmer understands. Then ultimately the farmers can be able to understand, be taught whatever they should do, and apply it to their own benefit. Now, information scientists also help agricultural scientists to locate and use relevant and timely information resources to support their agricultural research activities. Now, in summary, in this lesson, we have covered the following. We have defined agriculture. We have looked at agriculture in the Kenyan context. We have also examined the functions of Kenya's Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries, of which we have seen they coordinate the information generation and also the information dissemination. Then we have looked at the most common categories of agricultural practices globally. We have also examined the cycle of information generation, communication, and use of scientific information and knowledge in agriculture. And we have concluded by looking at the role or identifying the role of information scientists in agriculture. And we have seen that it is a supportive role which is played in the background but is very essential towards the success of agriculture in any country. Thank you so much. And that is the end of the first lesson. Thank you so much for your attention.
These televised lectures supplement our robust online learning going on our MKU online platform. You can view more on our televised lectures via our online platform. We are in a digital era, and Mount Kenya University knows this. The following are the steps to follow so as to complete your online application. Download the application form from the website www.mku.ac.ke. Attach copies of your academic certificates and ID. Pay the application fees via M-Pesa pay bill number 270988. Your ID is the account number. 2,000 shillings is the charge for a postgraduate. You can also deposit in the bank accounts provided on the website. Then email all the above to apply@mku.ac.ke.